something or someone had hung up on me without making a peep. So I called back, same message. This might be recorded. I don't know what, I guess they were recording me breathing or something. So again, nothing. The call never went anywhere. And so I said, well, this is crap. So I went on and hit the make a service appointment button. It didn't work. It brought me to a screen where I couldn't choose a date or a time, and it didn't prompt me for anything. I don't know whether I was supposed to change to a different month or a different location or claim I owned a different car. But after it took the make, model, and year of my car, the it froze up and wouldn't go anywhere. I couldn't hit the submit button. It didn't tell me why I couldn't hit the submit button, and I have no idea whatever happened. So I found a different phone number that it served up. I think it was at the bottom of that thing. Call here if you have problems submitting an appointment. So I called that phone number, and it was for an insurance company. And I thought,
You gotta be kidding. That's insane.
am I being pranked? I mean, what is going on here? Uh, and again, it was a voicemail robot service. Like, press one if you want to speak to a claims adjuster. Press two if you want to talk to a service agent. I'm go, what? So I pressed service agent, and again, the phone just rang and rang. So whatever insurance company this was, which was never identified, they had a similar really crappy setup, whatever it was. But the phone number that was on the service page at the bottom where you're supposed to be able to set an appointment, which you could not, was either incorrect or changed or something. So I thought, I've misdialed this number surely. So I sat there and wrote it down again from the page, which wouldn't let me submit my appointment. Carefully dialed each number, watched it, held it up, compared it to the screen, click, press one if you want a claims adjuster. I was
Yeah.
offered
Well, yeah.
roadside assistance from an insurance company. And again, the number wouldn't connect me to a human being anyway. So I just abandoned that, expanded the search on the dealership where I was, because as you know, I'm kind of out here in the boonies. Went north instead of south, we'll just say, and clicked the number on the screen, which dials it through my phone and projects it through the screen of my computer. And hello, this is service at so and so. Can you hold a minute? And then 10 seconds later, hello, this is so and so with service at so and so. What can I do for you? I go, well, crap, this is a whole lot better already.
Yeah.
So I was able to make an appointment and bring my vehicle in the next morning.
Well, it sounds like the first dealership that you went to obviously is losing a boatload of business because, customers don't have that kind of patience like you did or you tried to have. And then obviously, when was the last time that website was updated? Because obviously that phone number down at the bottom, somebody else has acquired, especially if it's a
I have
toll-free
no
number.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
there were toll-free numbers. So I dialed the direct local number for that same southernmost dealership. And again, there was my phone call got dumped once I pressed the two for service, and it
hmm.
went and then got dumped off.
Yeah. So, again, that's one of these adages, dealers have absolutely no idea in some cases what their customers are being put through in order to purchase a vehicle or get service done at their vehicle. And, the thing that they need to try to figure out is, what their customers are going through. So try to get a car serviced through your website. Try to purchase a car through your website and see what comes up. So obviously, this guy hasn't audited anything, any of the programs or services that are being offered through that dealership, and I'm sure that's not an isolated thing. And again, in this day and age, it's customers. They don't have the patience. They want instant gratification. They want to be able to click a button, schedule a service appointment, or submit a lead and have somebody get back to them at their convenience to help them in the purchase of their new vehicle or used
Yep.
vehicle.
And it's not like I'm computer illiterate, but you know, maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe you're supposed to do the Macarena and then the submit button works or something. I have no idea.
I don't know. When you typed in the age of that Cobalt, maybe that scared them. Uh, maybe those tools were obsolete and they've been recalled by the manufacturer. But no, I mean, but what you talked about, that happens. That's a common occurrence. And and again, dealers have to take the time to figure that out. Now, you know, service, you can sell a car and get a good front end experience, but service is what keeps them coming back year after year. And, if
Fixed
somebody,
operations is where most of the money at the dealership is made. I mean, if
well,
you
again, that's a controllable expense. And if your fixed ops in the back is generating, I mean, excuse me, your service department is supposed to be generating the money like you're talking about. But if you're not getting, your new customers are trying to get, you know, customers to come in for the first time, and that's their experience, you've only got, like you said, one chance to make a first impression, and
because
obviously yours,
even
that deal was bad.
I needed a an oil change and a tire rotation. And the thing was, they didn't even have tire rotation as an option. So I was going to have to tell them that in person or addend it or whatever. And but it didn't matter because after I pressed oil change and everything, and the
Mm,
submit button just wouldn't submit.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, that's something that they're going to have to address. But yeah, I'd safe to say you're not giving them another opportunity anytime soon.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway, it just brings back that a lot of these things need to be returned to basics. And one of the basics is have a phone number that gets a live person immediately.
yeah.
I mean, certainly you could have a choice where you can press one for sales or two for service, or maybe even three for parts. But after that point, that number needs to deliver you to a human, because that's the analogy of the meet and greet. If you walked in a dealership and there was a desk sitting there and it said, knock on the desk twice for sales, knock on it three times for used car sales, knock on it three times if you're lost and just need a drink of water. And they did that, and then nobody ever came.
Sure, sure. And then you make a great point, pivoting over to the sales side. How many times does a customer walk into a dealership and, there's activity, but there's also people sitting at a desk and they look up and, they give them the once over and they never get up to greet them. And, you know, it's it's just amazing that you would think somebody walked in, they're there for a reason. Now, they may not be there
Yep.
to purchase a car, like you said. They may be lost and looking to, get a drink of water or find where, your restrooms are. But, on the off chance that they might be coming to buy a new car, somebody should be greeting them.
And then
And,
there's the opposite. You have the
yeah,
dealerships where the guy barely drives up and there's a whole pack of jackals sitting on the edge of the curb, like eyeing them up like fresh meat.
yeah.
And so it's almost like we have no medium ground of reasonable, cheerful approach
Mhm.
and service and meet and greet, and it's either pounce or ignore.
Yeah. And you're right. I walk into a lot of dealerships. The first person a lot of times I'll meet is a receptionist. And, they'll ask, what are you here for? Who are you here to see? Um, but we were taught years ago, you greet the customer at the door. You welcome them to ABC Motors. My name is Mike. How can I assist you? Are you here to see anyone in particular? So just whatever that greeting is, it should be prompt, if nothing else, and respectful. But like I said, for somebody to walk all the way into a showroom, and hell, some of those receptionist desks are tucked in a corner, so they may have to walk entirely across the showroom to get to somebody who's going to acknowledge them, or at least somebody they think will acknowledge them. And how many salespersons did they walk past? So obviously, you know, the the initial greeting at the dealership, I mean that's basic sales 101. but yet a lot of folks they just I don't know take it for granted. And uh,
Customer service 101, really.